Up on there.
Okay, so here's today's social question. You ready? Since I'm going to do tours today, and this is going to be my last meeting. Oh no, I guess next month will be too. Anyway, I'm going to the safari park. I wanted to do favorite animals today. Our favorite animal and our least favorite animal and why. So I'm going to hope that Eloisa might be able to speak later. So we'll start on my screen with Jim. Jim, what is your favorite animal and why? And what is your least favorite animal and why? Or a funny anecdote or story about them.
Well, my favorite animals are dogs. My specific favorite animals is we had a Havanese whose name was Beijos, which is Brazilian for kisses. And Sue and I, let's see, how many years we've been married? 50
plus.
50 plus, 53.
50.
And all the time that we've been married, we've had dogs from day one. And I've always had big dogs. And Sue sort of tricked me into getting this Havanese.
Yes, I did.
And we had it, like it's supposed to say, I think almost 14 years. Became very attached to it. So if I would do that. Least favorite animals, I can't think of anything. Maybe only cats, in the sense that I've had good cats and bad cats. You never know what you're going to get with a cat. And I've had some that I could wring their necks, and other ones that were pretty nice. So I don't know of anything else. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a very domesticated group.
Yes, yes.
Sue, tell us yours.
Well, the sad thing is, living together for 53 years. Yeah, dogs are probably I'm most comfortable with dogs. I just saw Eli walk by in the mirror.
You did. He's getting ready for work. He has to leave in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. He just had his coffee.
Oh, I'm having mine. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I have come in contact with other animals that are not domesticated. I mean, when we were in Florida, I was not fond of the alligators. I would steer clear of the alligators.
Right.
I didn't want to have anything to do with them.
Well, that's fair.
So I don't know. I don't know that I've had much experience with other kinds of animals. Have I had?
Brutus.
Brutus the dog. Well, why didn't you say Brutus?
Because it's your turn. I told him.
Who's Brutus? Was he an angry dog?
Brutus is the donkey that lives on.
Oh, that's right.
Feeds carrots too. Yeah. And we have goats. And there are 2 barn cats.
How about your chickens and ducks?
Oh, my chickens and ducks.
You can tell them about putting them to
Yeah, I've been introduced to chickens and ducks and having to put them to bed at night. So, I mean, they're not warm and fuzzy, but they're sort of interesting.
We just had a bobcat run through. I know we have a lot here, but I never saw one until a couple nights ago. And I thought, ooh, we were so cautious with Popeye because people told us to be so cautious because he was just a small little dog. But we literally saw a bobcat run through. Boy, you have to worry about that too, I'm sure, with your chickens and ducks.
About the bobcat, have said it's what, the cougars? No,
Or
the
coyotes.
The coyotes. Yeah. And that's why I have to get the chickens and the ducks if Amy and Tyler are gone, because the coyotes will jump the fence and get them. So
for sure.
So
even little goats. Yeah.
I saw one briefly in Florida, but I know they're here. So yeah.
All right. How about you, Scott? Please tell me you have something more interesting than a dog and cat.
Well, actually, I'm not really a pet person.
I didn't
but
say pet. I said
yeah.
animal.
So I'm a big bird watcher. So
Oh,
when
that's
I
right.
say which ones I always like bald eagles. One, because of course for bird watchers, we always like raptors and large birds, and they also look very good, but also very successful, I say, conservation animal that they almost disappeared and now they're doing very well. So I think it's always good to see, and you can see them easily. They're big and prominent. You don't have to look for 40 minutes to see them. They're very right there. So I'll say that. And then on the negative side, I mean, in terms of foods, the sea slugs or sea cucumbers in Taiwan are very bad. They're
Why
kind of
do you eat those? That's so
yeah,
gross.
not they're kind of like weird. But I was thinking also in terms of I'm in Philippines. They've got carabao, which are kind of like large water buffalo kind of animals, and there's a hash where you run through the countryside, and those things just scare me to no end. I mean, the huge horns, and you don't know what they're going to do anyway. They don't look very happy.
Oh, wait,
So
what did you say?
well, the Philippines they call
Not
them
a
carabao.
caribou,
Carabao, not the
carabao. So it's
caribou,
like
but
a
the
water
carabao.
buffalo.
Yeah, with very long, pointy horns.
I need to look that up. I have no idea what that
I
is.
think they only use that term maybe in the Philippines, perhaps, but
Okay, I'll look it up. I
but
care about that.
Is it
the
water?
like Taiwan used to have a lot of them too, even just 50, because they pull the plows. They are domestic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For the plowing the field. So they're tied
Like
up, but on little
oxen.
tiny ropes. Yeah, they're like kind of like oxford, with really water buffalo with very long, pointy. And
Okay.
they're a little ill-tempered
Yeah,
and they're large and the little farmers will have them maybe on a tiny rope, which you'd think they can easily. They're so large, you would think nothing's going to stop them. So
right,
that's my least favorite, unless they're on a very strong rope. But
right.
the kids are fearless. The little Philippine, I mean, they ride on the back of them too. They're used for transport, and they're a lot of different uses. But if you happen to walk by them like me, it's scary to. Because sometimes they just don't look happy.
Well, probably they aren't.
They're
So
gruff.
wait, about bald eagles. Aren't bald eagles only native to North America? Or do you
Yes,
have? Okay, I thought
right.
so, but I
I
wasn't
think
sure.
sometimes you get. I think they could maybe cross over in northern Russia or that kind of thing. But I
Sure.
think basically they're North America. Yes.
So do you have eagles in Southeast Asia?
Yes.
Like
So
golden eagles, maybe?
I mean, e osprey are the one that you can see all around the world.
Yes.
But eagle wise, no. We have like snake eagles and crested serpent eagles are called, and uh, there are eagles in Asia, but different from the ones you would see in the New World.
Right.
So not too many birds are across
Global.
both continents.
Right.
Actually, Eurasia is all one, but then ours is separate. The only ones that like water birds, because they can fly along the coastlines, and ospreys, birds that do more with water, but most birds be different species from this continent to ours in North America.
This is another reason why you need to come to the wild, because we have nesting bald eagles and fledglings right now who are pretty big, but we also have tons of ospreys, so you would be able to get awesome pictures.
I like ospreys too. Yeah, they're cool. I didn't see them dive down, and how they can come out of the water like that, I don't know.
It's pretty cool. All right, well, I never anticipated sea cucumber to be one of the answers.
Yeah,
I hate those things
don't
so badly.
oh, they
Like, I
don't
was
taste.
traumatized by that as an exchange student, actually.
Oh, where was this? Japan, maybe.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I remember my mom cooking those.
Okay.
And I would like gag, and I would have to leave and go get hamburgers for supper. It was
Yes,
terrible.
those are the worst, right? It's
Oh
like,
my gosh, you might as well eat like mucus. It's horrible.
oh, because Taiwan, we're right at the bottom of the Japanese islands, so
Yeah.
they were a colony, so they have a lot of Japanese style foods that same.
That I completely concur. Completely. I can just validate your answers for me. All right, Ray. I didn't get to hear you talk very much today yet.
Oh
How
no,
about you for
I don't think I want
favorite
to talk too
animal?
much this morning. Anyhow, I was just in Costa Rica this year and learned that they are actively promoting the use of water buffalo in Costa Rica. So there is actually some, breeding, rearing, and marketing of that because it's not only an excellent beast of burden, but when it's done with its working days, instead of just retiring it out to pasture, you can eat them, unlike other beasts of burden.
Right.
So it doesn't get tough and stringy, chewy. It's good food too. So it's a dual purpose domesticated beast.
And Ray, I don't know if you know this, but like bison in the United States are much less destructive on pasture lands and things because domesticated cow will just rip up the grass by the roots and all. So they totally wipe out our pasture lands where bison don't do that. And I would think that water buffalo would behave properly in their confined areas as well, not ripping up the grass totally. So maybe that's another benefit.
Yeah, I don't know them that well, but maybe that
You
is
should
too.
get to know one. I mean,
Okay.
so what's your
Do you have them there at the wilds?
bison, not water buffalo?
Not water buffalo. Okay.
They
We don't
got
have
bison there. Oh,
Maybe you can answer when we went out west, bison or buffalo, is there a difference? And if so, why?
Bison is a more proper name. I think buffalo is kind of a vernacular.
Yeah. But it's
I
just
actually got into an argument with someone yesterday about this.
one animal with two names. Is that correct?
It happens all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
So Ray, what is your favorite animal?
All right. So I'm going to go to the wetlands for my my choice of animals this time. So favorite animal, spotted salamander.
Oh, we have those in Ohio.
Yeah, that is. So they're found in all 88 counties of Ohio. So they're not uncommon. They are picky, so you only find them where it's a pretty good habitat. So where it's fairly undisturbed. They love vernal pools, which is my favorite wetland type. So they breed in the temporary waters, but they need a lot of the surrounding woodland for the other 50 weeks of the year when they're not busy breeding. So it's a good representative of quality Ohio habitat.
For sure.
And it is our official state salamander, is the spotted
Amphibian.
salamander.
That's right.
I didn't know we had one. Good to know.
Well,
Is that gonna
a few
be your-
decades ago, we lobbied for that, and so there was quite a battle over which it should be. Once we said, hey, what, we don't have a salamander that's an official state, like the Buckeye tree, but now we do.
that be
So the other side of that equation is our state reptile,
Yes.
which is the bullfrog.
Oh, is it? I didn't know. Wait,
Yeah.
bullfrog's not a
So
reptile.
it
That's an
it's
amphibian.
wait a minute, what did I get wrong there?
I don't know, but
It's
I'm
a
gonna
state
look it
frog.
up.
All right, state frog then.
State
We'll go with
reptile.
that. Come on, I haven't even had a whole cup of coffee then. Anyhow,
No, because the spotted salamander is our state amphibian. For sure it is.
so during this lobbying approach, there was a teacher at a school and all of his students who were sending in letters and postcards to get the bullfrog. And we were saying like, no, not the bullfrog. We want the salamander. And so they split it and said, okay, we're going to make everybody happy here. We're going to have a state salamander. We're going to have a state frog. And then,
I
So
never
every-
heard that.
yeah. So,
State
but
amphibian is officially the spotted salamander. You are completely right. And I remember Eli. Do you remember Flat Stanley? The
yes,
guy that got run over. Okay, so when we first started homeschooling, everybody was doing Flat Stanleys and sending them around the world, and they were taking pictures of them like at the zoo or at their favorite place.
right.
So Eli didn't want a Flat Stanley. He wanted a flat spotted salamander. So we named him Flat Sal, that's right. And we mailed him around all over the world, and we have pictures of Sal in all these places all over the world. So we are very familiar with spotted salamander. Bullfrog, state frog. You're right. So the state amphibian, though, is a spotted salamander. Bullfrog. So is that your least favorite animal?
that's what I'm sticking with this morning. Yes.
That's a great answer.
They'll eat anything, even other salamanders and amphibians.
Yeah.
They tolerate highly disturbed habitats.
Right.
So any little ditch or puddle, anything that's polluted, they're fine with that. So I don't think it's a great example to represent the fine state of Ohio.
No, you're right. But just so you know, the state reptile is the black racer,
Okay.
which personally is my least favorite animal. The snake. That is definitely my least favorite animal. But we're gonna start. Are you finished talking, Ray? I interrupted
Sure,
you on the
sure.
bullfrog. Eli, have a great day.
But did you tell us your one you don't like?
He just said the frog.
I didn't know.
Spot,
You don't like a bullfrog?
No, but
spotted salamander,
Okay.
bullfrog.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah.
All right.
So do they don't actually, they're not invasive in that they push other creatures out. They are just capitalizing on crappy environmental situations, right? That's a good thing.
Yep. Yeah. They're bullies, and they're sloppy, and they're nasty, and they don't brush their teeth. You know.
I think bullfrogs are fine. I like hearing them. But you can think whatever you want, obviously. All right, Eloisa, your mic is off, unmuted. Does that mean you're going to speak to us quietly? What is your favorite animal?
Yes, my favorite animal is the horse, and of course the dogs. I mean, and now I didn't grow up with horses, but when I was married, we did have horses, and then I don't have them now in in my yard, but all my children do. So I spend because I do spend a lot of time with them, I get to see them and talk to them and look into their beautiful eyes. That's the part that I like most.
Yeah.
Did you ride the horses? Like, were they for riding, or did you just look at them out in the hillside?
We had them in the pasture, and then we had a race horse and a mare, and I would ride them occasionally, not every day. But now that my children have horses and mules, it's much easier to take mule rides and horse rides when I'm with them. So all of them usually, they have horses. So that's fun, and I get to be in touch with them. And I don't know, there's a connection I have with horses, and I play music. I used to play music when they were around, and they liked it, and feed them carrots and just brush their hair. So that was nice. They were really great companions. Then, of course, the feeding part is another deal. But since they belong to my kids, I didn't have to get that much involved. And then, yes, and dogs, of course, are also my favorite ones. I used to have white German Shepherds, and they were just adorable and loyal and very protective. They're very protective and very, very smart. So I have a lot of respect and love for those animals too. And my least favorite animal are the gnats, you know, in the insect world, because you can't see them, but they bite so nastily, you know, and so centipedes and things like that are not ones that I like. I make peace with them, but that's it.
Yeah, and you have
Yes.
quite a variety in that
Mm.
tropical environment,
Yes, and
insect-wise.
yes, and scorpions too, but they seem to be not the real dangerous ones. But when you see a scorpion, you know, in your kitchen floor, and that's what happens when I visit one of my daughters, and I said, "Hi," because I just worry about them biting the kids, but nothing like that has happened yet. So those would be my least favorite ones. Let me tell you, I went to a Rotary convention in District 4110 many years ago, and it was in the state of Durango. And Durango is very, very well known for different kinds of scorpions and the deadly ones, you know, the ones that really do cause a lot of harm. And we were just beginning the convention, and there was this speaker that had done a lot of research on scorpions. So that must have been the second talk, you know, of the first day of the convention, you know, and then she was very explicit, and they fall off the ceiling and they come through the electric plugs, you know, and then they like to nest under the rug. And then if you see one, it's probably a female and it's left its babies here and there, or it's carrying it in their bag, you know, and they prefer lawns. You know, I said, why did you give this talk to us? We still have to go through 3 days of the convention.
Oh my God.
And then there were legends of the 10 centimeter centimeters black scorpion, and the legend of the one that they wanted to kill the guy because he was the boyfriend of the girl of the owner of the hacienda, and the owner wanted the girl. So he managed to put him into prison, but he put him in the death cell. And that was because there was a black, you know, a humongous scorpion, a black one, that will kill whoever got in that cell. So that was, you know, that's what his goal was, just to get the girl. But he managed, you know, to beat the scorpion. He asked for 2 little candles and a bucket. So he sat all night with the candles, waiting for the scorpion to come out. So when it did, you know, he almost ran out of light because there was not that much oxygen. So he finally, you know, he was sitting over the bucket. So when he heard the scorpion, you know, he just jumped off the bucket and turned it over and caught the scorpion. So that scorpion, they say, is in the Museum of Insects in Mexico City. Can you believe that? So that was the legend of the black scorpion, you know. And then the other one was that they were driving back to their hometowns, and some people in buses. And there was this little boy that kept telling his mama, Mama, I dropped my little jar. I dropped my little jar. And the mama kept saying, well, we'll pick it up when we get to our home and hometown, and don't worry about the little jar. Da, 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 da. And then he says, no, Mama, I dropped it and it broke. And he said, well, all the little scorpions that I had caught are running loose in the bus. So you just heard the screech of the driver stepping on the brakes. Everybody out. So, you know, but that was quite interesting. Never do that at the beginning of a talk
That
about
is
your insects.
ridiculous. Like, that was very, very poor choice for a Rotary speaker. Was that a district conference or something?
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh, I would have done it like last.
I know, you know, so, you know, when we go to sleep, we'll be checking under the bed.
No question. Oh my God.
But anyway, we made it. We made it. Nobody got bit.
That's ridiculous. That's
So,
very bad.
you know,
plan.
I was thinking, you know, they should have a lot of, you know, antidotes ready. So
That's
somebody
right.
got bitten. I mean, at least have something, provide an alternative. But anyways, well, things happen. So that's my story.
All right. Well, that's a good story. For me, my favorite animal is a rhino, and I have loved rhinos from the very beginning. I don't know why. I'm from Pittsburgh, so we don't have rhinos naturally, but always attracted to rhinos. Now, I love cows, and I think, and I love dinosaurs. So I think maybe like a rhino, when you look at a rhino up close, it reminds me of a triceratops. I mean, clearly, there's such a resemblance, and behaviorally, they're just like a big cow. They don't, they're not terribly aggressive, although I saw aggression last year in a rhino that I've never ever recognized until last year, being very close to a rhino at the wilds. But and it was dangerously aggressive. But typically, rhinos are very mild mannered. They're just kind of elusive. They don't seek out aggression. They're just not that type of animal. So I think they're so cute. And we just had a baby rhino born on Friday. I cannot wait to get back to the wilds because she is so cute. If I could put anything in my back seat, it would be a baby rhino, and I would bring it home, and they would be my goat. Instead of a goat, I would have a rhino on my yard, sure, if I had a choice. They're so sweet. But my least favorite animal is for sure a snake. I was massively phobic of snakes my whole life, and it's my mother's fault. She taught me to be afraid of snakes from the very beginning. So I swore I would never teach my child to be afraid of anything, bugs or anything. So I had to try really hard to not teach my child to be afraid of snakes, because literally I couldn't look at a picture of a snake without having nightmares. And if I saw a video of a snake, I couldn't sleep. Like, it was similar to your scorpion story. Like, I couldn't sleep for, I don't know, a couple of days. So it was really terrible. So when I became a docent at the zoo, I forced myself. They said that I could skip the reptile week of training and not go behind the scenes at the Columbus Zoo, because it was very common, especially girls are afraid of snakes. So they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. You're just never going to volunteer. This is when I was at the Columbus Zoo. You're just never going to volunteer with snakes. It's fine. And they allowed me to skip that week. But working up to that week, I trained myself. Like, I would force myself to look at pictures for about 1 week. I would look at pictures and read up and study. And then the next week I watched videos, and I worked myself up to the point where I could do the training. And I did go inside the reptile house, which incidentally at the Columbus Zoo, the behind the scenes of the reptile house is in the center of a circular building, which means at all times you're surrounded by poisonous snakes, which is like the worst possible situation for my mind. But I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And I actually have pretty much overcome the phobia of snakes. And I didn't run over one on Friday on tour, which I could have easily and not told a single thing anybody, but I didn't run over it. And I've saved a couple snakes in recently, but this summer I had an interaction with a snake which has set me back. I opened the shed door, and there was literally a snake standing in the doorway, like looking at me, and that about like freaked me out, because if I know they're coming or if I have control over the situation, it's not so bad, but they shouldn't surprise me like that. So I did have somewhat of a setback this summer on snakes, but I don't like snakes. Are not my favorite. So anyway, we want to say anything else? I have so many other things. Like, I have a bald eagle story that happened to Eli. Anyway, I have all kinds of funny stories, but this is not the Kris show. This is
Well, I wanted to add that since we've been here, we've become more interested in the birds, and we've set out a lot of bird feeders, and the hummingbirds have just thrilled me this summer. And in the peak of hummingbird season, we think we had 5 regulars come, and now I'm paying attention to if I see them at all during the day, so that I know whether to keep the feeders out or not. I've heard they're going to begin to leave between now and mid-October, so I'll keep the food out until I don't see them anymore. But I've loved watching them come in, and we've become a little better at recognizing.
Yeah. Well, both, you know, Scott described himself as a bird watcher, but he's a birder. And so is Ray's a birder. Sue and I are bird
We are bird
watchers. We're learning. And I have to look at the page. Is that a downy or a hairy woodpecker?
right.
Flipping and looking and all the time. And it's fascinating because I don't know that we ever paid that much attention.
Well,
I always liked birds, but I never really paid attention to them.
and we never had a place
right
that we could sit and watch as they came in and that.
And we have a perfect haven for them because we have a clearing with 50 acres of woods all around us. And so I know they have some kind of communication system, because it started off there was very few, and now they've gone out and told every one of them. And so they're all coming into our backyard. And but it's a very expensive habit.
It could be worse. It could be something that's not tiny to
between this the bird seed and the suet. I mean, holy mackerel!
And sugar for the hummingbirds. I don't know how much money I spent on hummingbird sugar just this summer.
Yeah.
So a lot of people keep their hummingbird feeders up even when the migration takes them south, because during the movement in the fall, there are some vagrant hummingbirds that may show up. So all season long, you're seeing ruby-throated hummingbirds. That's the only thing that you'll see in Ohio. But occasionally, a western species, thinking it's going south, gets blown off course or something, and you will find, just a one-off of a species. So if you're paying close attention, you got your binoculars handy, and there's something that comes next month, you might give it a closer inspection, and keep your book handy for reference, and you may find that you've got a new hummingbird species in your yard for a day while it refuels and then gets its bearings and heads on its way.
Even next month into October?
Do all ruby-throated hummingbirds have a red throat? Because a lot of them that I've seen, I've seen a couple with red, but a lot of them are sort of monochromatic. I'm not seeing a hummingbird with a lot of different colors on it.
Yeah, the males, I think second-year males in breeding plumage get the red throat, but the juvies and the females don't.
But you can tell them apart. Like, I was telling Sue that I was able to hand hold my feeder and the hummingbirds would come to it. And it was so interesting how different they're all patterned on their bellies. Some have like a pure white belly, others have like one spot or several spots. When you said you thought you had 5, oh my goodness, you probably have more than that, because when you really, really look at their bellies and how different they are, I had many more than I thought I had once I was getting up close and personal with them, which was so fun.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
I love them. Scott, what kind of hummingbirds are in Taiwan? And Philippines must be tropical ones.
There's no hummingbirds in Asia. I believe someone told me.
What?
Only in North America and South America.
That's South.
What?
That
I
sound
had
right,
no
Ray? That's
idea.
what somebody told me, yes.
Is that true, Ray? Do you know?
I think so.
Oh,
The biggest diversity is in South America,
I would
where
think.
species are stratified by altitude,
Oh.
as well as other things. So if you're in Ecuador on the Amazon side, you can just go a few miles and your altitude changes, and there'll be another suite of wildlife just based on that, including a variety of hummingbirds. So yeah, it's a real thrill to go to a place like that and see so many different kinds. It's hard to keep up with them.
That's
And yeah,
awesome.
someone told me in Asia we don't have any. Yeah.
What? You need some. No,
Yeah.
they're so cool and they're so loud. Their flying is so loud. I had no idea.
They're humming.
They sure are. But I
They
could
don't
tell
know
them
the
apart
words.
based on their hum. Like some flapped faster than the others, or it must have been the size of their wings. I could actually tell the difference between them before I could see them, based on the pitch of their hum. It was so cool. I had so much fun this summer with that. It was my nightly activity, sitting out there with. Anything else? Jim.
I do, but do it after we stop recording because I have a question.
All right. Well, we can stop recording anytime.
Anyway.
Eloisa.